Captain, message from Starfleet. It is Admiral Redrick.
On screen. Greetings, Admiral. What can we do for you?
Jean-Luc, good to see you again. I have a little favor to ask. Would you be interested in finding a little lost lamb for me?
A lamb?
A figure of speech. I have a friend stationed on Morasia, an exobiologist. I haven't heard from her in quite a while. I'm getting a little worried. I'd like you to check into it if you can.
Who exactly is this lost lamb?
Her name is Dr. V. Hunforsch. She was on Morasia cataloging local species for the Federation Zoological Database, but no one's seen her for days.
Have the local authorities investigated the matter?
Constable Lixie, who runs the preserve, thinks V went on a field trip and that there's nothing to worry about. To humor me, she said I should send a team to investigate.
Admiral, do you have any reason to suspect foul play?
The truth? V is headstrong. She might be chasing butterflies. But I think there's more to it than that. And Jean-Luc, Morasia is applying for Federation membership. You could review the state of affairs there while you're looking for our exobiologist.
Very well. As soon as we receive your report, we'll get underway.
I'll transmit it immediately. Oh, and Jean-Luc, the Morasians have a strict matriarchal society. Males are usually treated as servants at best. Don't take it personally.
Understood, sir.
Good luck. Redrick out.
Laying a course for Morasia, Warp 5.
Yes, sir.
Warning. Entering nebula. Entering non-aligned space.
Helm, standard orbit.
Captain's log supplemental. The Enterprise has arrived at Morasia to investigate the disappearance of Dr. V. Hunforsch, an exobiologist stationed here for the past 2 years. The 3 species native to this world have enjoyed a millennium of peaceful cooperation, and this visit will give us the opportunity to review Morasia's petition for membership in the Federation. It's time we introduced ourselves. Mr. Worf, hail Constable Lixie.
Aye, Captain.
I'm Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Federation Starship Enterprise. We have come to investigate the disappearance of Dr. Hunforsch.
Welcome to Morasia. As I told Admiral Redrick, I really don't think Dr. Hunforsch is in any danger. She's probably on an extended field trip.
Good. We'll need your beam-down coordinates.
I shall transmit them. And Captain, In order to protect the animals in the preserve, we permit no weapons of any kind on the surface.
Our away teams carry phasers for self-defense only. They can be locked on a low stun setting. I assure you none of your animals will be harmed.
I'm sorry, Captain. I won't allow it. We cannot predict how even your lowest setting will affect our animals.
We will respect your laws. The away team will not be armed.
For a male, you are unusually cooperative.
Is there any better way to begin a relationship?
Forgive me, Captain. I am not accustomed to seeing a male in command. I will await your investigators.
Lieutenant Commander Data, please report to the transporter room. Counselor Troy, please report to the transporter room. Dr. Crusher, please report to the transporter room. Lieutenant Commander LaForge, please report to the transporter room.
Visitors for Constable Lixie. Constable Lixie is present.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hoon Forsh.
Welcome. So you are the artificial human. Interesting. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there really is no need for alarm. Dr. Hunforsh is probably just on an extended field trip.
The Preserve clearly embodies your philosophy of life forms living within life forms to create a single harmonious organism. It is an impressive achievement.
Very observant, Commander. Your perceptiveness does you credit.
Who were the last people to see the doctor?
Apparently, Consultant Idia was the last to see her. They had dinner or some such. It's all in my report. You should be able to access it through your tricorder.
If the doctor had been injured somewhere in the Preserve, would you be able to locate her?
Of course. But our surveillance system can detect signs of distress in any of our inhabitants. And we've had no sign of trouble from the doctor.
Your tone suggests that you do not like Dr. Hoon Forsh.
She hasn't made many friends here. She disagrees openly with our philosophy, our methods, and has even accused us of smuggling banned species.
I would like to investigate the Preserve grounds where the doctor last worked.
We'd prefer to limit the number of outsiders in the preserve while it is under construction. Investigating the doctor's laboratory should be sufficient.
A thorough investigation of the doctor's disappearance will require me to enter the preserve. Furthermore, the Federation Council has requested a review of Marasia. Unhindered access will allow me to prepare a far more detailed report.
The Federation's requests are not law here. Not yet. But in the interests of cooperation, I'll open up the area surrounding my outpost. Be sure to stay within the visitors' areas. You must understand, my responsibility to the animals comes first.
I have no more questions for you at this time. May I investigate the doctor's quarters?
Of course. Her laboratory quarters are at the end of the path towards the mountains.
Constable Lixie doesn't seem to like Dr. Hoon Forsh much. I wonder how hard she tried to find her.
Constable Lixie is a Marassian of the Euclean species. She oversees the preserve and reports directly to the planetary government. The computer is a BAT 4003, an obsolete Milosian model. It has been modified for hand and foot operation. A standard tricorder can establish a data link with this computer port.
I acknowledge your curiosity. Please do not disturb the privacy of my files.
This basket holds fruit, roots, and larvae for the constable's veranda bird. Marassians typically use the bones of the dead to make useful objects. The braiding is woven from stone and hair, traditionally taken from the Euclean tribal matriarch after her death. Intriguing. Verandas are highly intelligent avian mammals with sophisticated vocal abilities.
I'd like to learn more about the doctor's research. Let's take a look at her lab.
The biotable incorporates bioassay hardware to analyze specimens and perform scans. The field unit is configured for a specific terrain and climate. It monitors the conditions of animals who have been injected with identification microchips. The bioprobe analyzes samples that a field unit collects from specimens. It is used primarily for zoological analysis. It is a sonic scope. It uses acoustic resonances to analyze molecular structures. This paramammalian species has been cryogenically preserved for medical analysis. This paramammalian species, the insectivore, is possibly a member of the Talpidae family. I do not believe that will work. A massive computer fragmentation has erased the doctor's files. The only salvageable message from her daily log is sessions with Tracker Melas canceled. Schedule again after field trip. Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
I am Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I am investigating the absence of Dr. Forsch.
Greetings. I doubt that she is in any danger. She's probably just taking a vacation after her blow-up with Constable Lixie.
We found your name in the doctor's laboratory. What is your relationship with her?
I teach her territorial recognition. At least I did. We suspended our lessons after the power outages began. I haven't seen her since, but I doubt she's lost. Such an excellent tracker, even if she is a bit weak in the nose.
You mentioned power outages. Can you describe them in greater detail?
A power surge at our quarantine shelter destroyed some of the generators. 2 watchers were seriously injured and several animals escaped. Since then, we've had outages in the biotopes. They're still under investigation.
Without the generator, the individual containment fields in the shelter will not function. You would no longer be able to quarantine any animals for analysis or adaptation.
That's right. Most of our personnel are out searching for escaped animals right now. Dr. Hunforsh might be doing that on her own.
This blow-up you mentioned, do you mean the constable and the doctor had an argument?
Dr. Hunforsh discovered that several animals from Aramut's second shipment were illegal species which had been mistagged. I think she accused the constable of smuggling, but I'm not sure. Healer Zolas told me the story.
Smuggling is a serious offense. It would certainly jeopardize the acceptance of Marassia into the Federation.
That's why she thought Constable Lixie might be involved, to thwart Federation entry.
What exactly are the Watcher's responsibilities?
The Watchers feed and care for the preserved species.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
Dr. Hunforsh was examining these carcasses for a reason. I suggest we perform biological and sonic scans on the carcasses ourselves.
I wish you well on your search.
Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal. Subject is marked as a Kujan gibbon. Probable cause of death is massive infection by Naturov parasites. This parasite is not native to the Kujan's habitat.
I see no way of using this with that
Serial diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy. Subject is marked as a myocardial mole. Probable cause of death is neural energy loss. Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag. Subject is in a carnivore. Subject is marked as a Frednorian boar. Probable cause of death is malnutrition.
I am not certain this is a Frednorian boar. I believe it may be an Akana boar, a close genetic relative.
I think we should contact Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
One creature experienced an energy drain within its neural pathways. It is untagged but appeared to be a mole of some sort.
It It's probably a Myocordae mole. They're quite common on Marasia, but I've never heard of one dying like this before.
A creature tagged as a Kujan gibbon died of a parasitic infection not found in its native habitat. How could this have occurred?
I don't know. The Watchers are the ones who care for the animals. Maybe they can help you.
Its cause of death is unusual, but not unprecedented. I have personally encountered a species that consumed human neural energy for survival. Is there a preserve animal that might feed on Myocordae neural energy?
None that I know of. But perhaps the Myocordae got caught in one of the generator power surges, but then it wouldn't be drained of energy. I don't know.
A creature tagged as a Frednorian boar apparently died of starvation. Do you know how this could have occurred?
Hard to say. The Watchers are quite good. I can't imagine they'd just let this happen. Maybe they were given the wrong care instructions, or maybe the animal was not identified correctly.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve? Thank you for your time.
I wish you well on your search.
It's possible the constable felt that telling us about her argument with the doctor would arouse our suspicions. But why would she withhold information about the escapes?
I can see why the constable didn't want to tell us about the power outages. You wouldn't want to reveal that animals are escaping from a preserve that's not even open yet.
I'd like to ask the constable about those power outages Melas mentioned.
Constable, I would like to know why Dr. Huhnforsch accused you of smuggling.
She found a Romulan creature, which is, of course, banned from import by Federation law. It was tagged as a similar legal species. She has accused me of smuggling it in order to damage our chances for Federation membership.
How do you explain the mistagged animal?
I blame our supplier, Eramet. He's rude, devious, and barely competent. If I'd known Eramet was a Ferengi, I'd never have listened to Idia's recommendation. But the contract is binding, and he does deliver on time.
Why do you oppose Federation membership?
Membership in the Federation would compromise Marasia's freedom of action. Some of us would rather not see that happen.
Constable, I understand the preserve has been experiencing some unusual power outages.
Those were just a few temperamental generators failing. They've been repaired. Is the Federation now concerned with our internal technical difficulties as well?
I appreciate your candor.
You impress me, Commander. It's strange that your creator can find you in the male form. Still, you compensate well.
I believe the constable. She seems genuinely devoted to the preserve, and I don't think she would resort to smuggling, even to thwart Federation membership.
If the constable was smuggling to prevent Federation admission, she'd want Dr. Hunforce to yell it from the treetops. Maybe the mistaggings are just mistakes.
I'd be interested to hear what Dr. Idia has to say about all this.
Open a channel to Consultant Idia.
Channels open.
I am Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hunforsh.
As I told Constable Lixie, I don't know where she is. Must you interrupt my research with more pointless questions?
I am afraid so. According to the Constable's report, you are the Preserve's consultant.
Yes, I helped select and verify preserved species in the biotopes. The Morassians wanted a Federation expert, despite Lixie's objections. They were lucky to get me.
You were the last to see Dr. Hunforsh before her disappearance?
As far as I know, that's not a crime.
I'd like to know what you and the doctor discussed.
When I saw her for supper the other day, she was talking about genetic samples from the last shipment. She knows I don't like to hear people talk while I eat, so she said little else.
But Dr. Hunforsh was cataloging Morassian species exclusively. Why would she want genetic samples from other animals in the preserve? I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Animal carcasses in an exobiology lab? Well, that's certainly unusual.
A creature tagged as a Frednorian boar apparently died of starvation. Do you know how this could have occurred?
Sounds like incompetence to me. The Watchers blindly follow whatever care instructions they're given. No personal initiative at all.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve?
It must have been smuggled in. You know, the Watchers have requested restricted species before and were denied. Dr. Hunforsh must have found out about it.
Consultant, I am puzzled. Since you verify preserved species, you must have known this was an Akana. Why did you not report the misidentification?
I didn't want to. I wanted the chance to study it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Who am I to deprive science of my brilliant research on such a specimen?
Did the doctor confront any of the Watchers with her suspicions? Why would the Watchers resort to smuggling?
They're fanatics out to save the endangered creatures of the universe. I've suspected them all along, especially when I discovered this mistagging. You see, these tags can only be reprogrammed by a Watcher.
A Mycordae mole experienced an electrical drain from its neural pathways. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those Watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
A creature tagged as a Kujan gibbon died of a parasitic infection not found in its native habitat. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
Constable Lixie mentioned that you recommended the Ferengi trader Aramut for the second shipment.
He delivers what you want on time. The constable gave me hell when she found out that he was a Ferengi. She barely tolerates me because I'm a male.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for wasting it.
Idia's accusation that the Watchers are fanatics is certainly plausible. Collectors can be quite zealous in their pursuit of rare specimens.
Idia certainly has a high opinion of himself. The thing he seemed most interested in was his reputation.
I'd say we've done all we can here. Let's check out the biotopes.
I do not believe that will work. It appears to be hungry. The atoll fruit is considered to be a Marassian delicacy. I do not believe that. This terminal is offline. The power grid in this area may be damaged. This port can accommodate an external power source to run the kiosk. Intriguing. This is part of the surveillance system monitoring distress calls in the preserve. The antennae trigger informational displays of various species. We do not know enough about the biotopes to accurately direct the field units. However, the biotope computer may contain the necessary information. I believe this shuttle dock also serves as the customs area. As there are no expected flights, there is no staff. This cargo shuttle is powered by two 2,250 millicochrane warp engines. The microgenerator uses thermal energy to replenish its internal power source. This device recharges microgenerators. This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are the caverns, the pit, and the crater. The field unit is configured for a specific... This Class C field unit is configured for aquatic... This Class B field unit is configured for mountainous terrain and tropical climate. This Class A field unit is configured for rocky terrain and torrid climate zones. This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are the 4 tunnels within that petrified tree. Although it is tagged as a Genzer lip, This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are within the jelly corals and the water.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal. Seriodiagnostic tests. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject contains high ionic residue and trace amounts of neurotranquilizers. Originating creature may consume energy. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag.
I see no way of... That is unnecessary.
There's still a piece or two missing from this puzzle. Let's see if Healer Zolas can help us fill in the blanks.
Open a channel to Healer Zolas.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hoon Forsh.
A Starfleet officer. I was expecting this.
Why did you expect Starfleet to investigate the Doctor's disappearance?
It seemed likely. She said she planned to file a complaint with the Federation Council regarding smuggling in the preserve.
The Council received no such report.
Well, then I suppose she changed her mind, or someone changed it for her.
Tracker Melas indicated that you knew of a confrontation between Dr. Hoon Forsh and the Constable.
Yes, the doctor mentioned it when she asked about Aramet. He's a Ferengi who provides us with alien species for the preserve.
Was she inquiring about mistagged animals from his shipment?
Yes, she had spoken to Zudan, one of the 3 watchers in charge of the last shipment. He told her to talk to Aramet.
Did the other watchers also tell her to speak to Aramet?
I doubt it. The other watchers were at the quarantine shelter and suffered some kind of neural energy drain when the generators exploded. They've been comatose ever since. Zudan's the only watcher on duty now. I'll send you the Watcher's neuroscans. You can view them on the bio table, but I recommend you speak to Watcher Zudan. You can find him at the quarantine shelter.
On several occasions, the Watchers requested restricted species and were denied. Is it possible that Aramet was secretly supplying the Watchers with illegal species?
Aramet Aramet has a rather unsavory reputation. The Watchers wouldn't have anything to do with someone like that. But you can ask Zudan yourself.
Did Consultant Idia know of Aramet's reputation when he recommended him for a traitor?
Considering how long Idia and Aramet have known each other, I would think so. Those two go back quite a while. I think Idia even came here on Aramet's ship.
Thank you for your time.
Certainly. Good luck to you.
Dr. Hunforsh must have known that Aramet and Idia were friends, but she also accused the Watchers.
The Watchers suffered an electrical energy drain from their neural pathways, like the Myocorde mole. No unusual reading. The Watchers suffered...
There's Zudan. Let's talk.
That is unnecessary. Open a channel to
Channels open.
I wish to ask you...
Look, I'm in the middle of some very delicate research. Can't you find someone else to bother?
This panel controls access to the quarantine area. The gates open automatically in the event of a power failure. This is the harmonic collector control. The collector has been set to emit a brief high-energy pulse. This panel controls the containment field. The field is centered on the harmonic collector. These generators create a network of force field segments to form separate containment areas. The harmonic collector operates on the same principle as the Bussard ram scoop collector. Its purpose, however, is to reconfigure sound waves. Zudan is one of 3 Watchers who were responsible for the second shipment of preserved animals. This cage was broken open from the inside, most likely by the last creature it held. I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hunforsh.
I'm responsible for preserve animals, not Federation scientists.
I understand the doctor spoke to you of her concerns regarding smuggling in the preserve.
Yes, she came here soon after the outages, ranting away. Imagine, accusing me, when I'm the one who told her about that Bohr mistagging.
Were you the one who found the carcass?
Yes. It died just before the outages, and I wanted her to test it.
Why did you not ask Consultant Idia to test the carcass?
I don't trust him. Always drugging and borrowing animals for his experiments. In the interests of science, he says. I don't know how he could have approved that mistagging in the first place.
Do the Watcher's stunners set off the preserve surveillance system?
The system only detects signs of distress. Normal sleep does not raise an alarm. Likewise, stunners and neurotranquilizers also don't alert the system. Unlike Idia and Aramet, we prefer stunners. Chemical sedation can be harmful.
Consultant Idia mentioned that only Watchers can change the ID tags.
That's true. but the suppliers tag the animals first. We just match them up with the constable's shipping orders. Idia is responsible for verifying them.
Is it true that the Watcher's requests for restricted species were rejected?
Only 4 species out of 112. Of course, we were upset at first, but once the preserve is completed, we can always try again.
When did you last see Dr. Forsch?
I haven't seen her for some time. I've been busy recovering animals which escaped during the power outages. It's not easy work. The last time I saw her, I sent her to talk to Aramet.
I have examined the neuroscans of the injured Watchers. The electrical energy within their neural pathways has decreased significantly. How could that have happened?
I don't know. During my evening rounds, I found them unconscious next to the Saltus reptile cage. I carried them outside the shelter and was going for help when the generators exploded.
What creature was in this area?
A 2-meter-long, 180-kilogram Saltus reptile which came in on the last shipment. I found the Watchers next to its cage the night of the outages. It's still missing.
My readings show traces of a tranquilizing agent in its waste.
Aramet always doses his animals with neurotranquilizers, just like Idia. We had to feed the reptile intravenously for days. It finally woke up right before the accident, just in time to escape.
These readings share the same ionic residue as samples found near other creatures drained of electrical energy. And this cage is also next to the drain generator. Perhaps the Saltus reptile is a mistagged animal that consumes electrical energy.
But there were no reports of it being seen near any of the power outages. And that reptile isn't easy to miss. Unless it's found a way to turn itself invisible, you're going to need another theory.
We have encountered several species capable of phasing out of the time continuum and, in effect, becoming invisible. We have also encountered species who consumed human neural energy. The Saltus reptile may be a life form with similar characteristics.
Well, if you believe so, I suppose it's possible.
Thank you for your time.
Watch your step now.
Idia persuaded the constable to use Aramet, and Idia is also capable of verifying mistagged species. And he had the neurotranquilizers to knock out Dr. Forsch if she posed a threat to him.
Only stunners or drugs could disable someone without setting off the surveillance systems. Idia has a supply of neurotranquilizers.
Aramet must have helped Idia smuggle rare animals into the preserve. Then, when Dr. Forsch found out, he drugged her with his neurotranquilizers. That's why the surveillance systems didn't go off.
I'd like to see how Constable Lixie reacts to what we've discovered.
Constable, we have reason to believe that Consultant Idia smuggled rare species into the preserve through his friend Aramet.
Are you trying to pick up where Dr. Forsch left off? She accused nearly everyone else of the same thing.
Consultant Idia persuaded you to hire Aramet, and he knowingly verified mistagged animals. He also uses neurotranquilizers, which could have stunned Dr. Forsch without triggering your surveillance systems.
Idia's been nothing but trouble since he got here. This time he's gone too far. I'll send for him so we can settle this once and for all.
Please wait here until Constable Lixie returns.
No unusual...
Constable, we asked Consultant Idia to go to your office. He went to get some items, then suddenly beamed out. He seems to be gone.
He must have called Aramet for help. The Ferengi has a subspace transporter. See if you can find Dr. Hunforsh.
There's a woman here asleep with a gag over her mouth. Maybe she knows.
That's her, you idiot. Wake her and send her here. And have a look around Idia's office while you're there. He might have left some evidence.
Have you captured Idia?
No. Unfortunately, he escaped with Aramet. This Federation team was sent to find you. Perhaps they can help.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Enterprise. We will apprehend Idia and Aramet.
Forget them. We have to recapture the Mistag Siltis. It's already killed dozens of animals and destroyed several containment field generators.
The creature must be captured. Constable, can we use the force field at the quarantine shelter?
The shelter force field will not help us. The creature escaped once, and it will escape again.
Perhaps we can rephase the force field energy frequencies. The creature may not be able to adapt quickly enough to the changes.
That might work, but the only place we can rephase the force field power is at the main power grid.
I will go to the main power grid and perform the necessary modifications.
Good. The power grid is on the other side of the preserve. Take one of the shuttles.
I hate to interrupt, but just how are we supposed to lure this creature back to the shelter?
Since the creature requires energy, we can attempt to channel all available energy into the shelter generators. The creature should be attracted to it.
We can't. We're using all our energy reserves to maintain the biotopes.
The harmonic collector is capable of emitting high-energy EM fields. We may be able to use it at the shelter.
Yes, that should do it. V, I'll send one of the Watchers with you to the shelter to help set it up. If we can get the field power rephased, we might get that thing under control. I'll stay and monitor the situation from here.
This is the Utilities Distribution Network. It controls the allocation of resources in the preserve, including electricity. The utility trunk controls the field energy distribution to the waveguide conduit networks.
The energy fields are responding. Frequency phasing complete.
Constable, has the harmonic collector been arranged?
Yes, but Dr. Hunforsh needs your help with the quarantine shelter. The only Watchers I could find are needed to oversee the other biotopes.
We will be there.
Just one more thing. Zudan tells me those generators won't hold up for long, and we can't afford to send much power to the shelter right now. Many biotopes are already on reserve power only.
We will review the situation at the shelter when we arrive. Where will you be?
I'll be controlling electrical systems from my office. Then I have to call an emergency meeting of the Marassian Constabulary to explain just what's going on.
Have you devised a means to trap the creature?
It's all set up, but I need you to operate those consoles while I keep an eye on the creature from here.
What do you wish me to do?
The harmonic collector's hooked into console 2. Once activated, it'll emit high-energy pulses to lure the creature in.
This panel controls access to the quarantine area. This panel controls the container.
We did it. Now what took you so long to find me?
The investigation was actually quite short in duration. Apparently your absence was not keenly felt. Constable Lixie had attributed your absence to a field trip.
She was probably still upset that I accused her of smuggling. I suppose I should apologize to her, now that I know Idia was behind the whole thing.
How did Consultant Idia learn that you suspected him? Did you accuse him of smuggling as well?
I didn't confront him. I was just looking for information. But after I asked him about the Sultis, he must have panicked and decided to drug me. I should have suspected when he invited me to dinner. He hates to hear people talk while he eats.
It appears the Watchers knew nothing of Idia's scheme to smuggle rare animals into the preserve through Aramut.
They were the ones who brought the Mistag boar to my attention in the first place. They weren't smuggling anything.
Apparently, Consultant Idia underestimated this reptile's appetite for electrical energy.
That egotist, thinking he could get away with it. Some of these animals are even from Romulan space. Did he think I wouldn't notice?
Are you certain the animals are Romulan in origin?
It would take more tests to be certain, but they definitely came from Romulan space. It's not surprising. Aramut does a lot of trading along the neutral zone.
What will happen to this reptile?
I'm sure Constable Lixie will want to send it back, unless I can convince her to keep it here. A creature like that doesn't come by every day.
I believe the captain will want to pursue Idia and Aramut. Will this incident significantly delay completion of the preserve?
It'll be a little behind schedule, but I have a few suggestions to help them speed things up.
Then it is time we return to the Enterprise. Good luck, Doctor. Beam us up.
Captain's Log Supplemental. Our successful attempt to locate Dr. Hunforsh has uncovered another mystery. Apparently, the creature responsible for the chaos on Marassia may have come from Romulan space. We are currently searching for the Ferengi trader Aramut. Despite somewhat questionable trading practices, he has never violated Federation law, until now.
Captain, Tabak asks to speak with you.
Captain, I heard about what happened on Marassia. That creature you discovered, it sounds exactly like a Verenak, a Garidian creature. Except the Verenak was exterminated long ago.
How could a Ferengi trader get hold of an extinct animal?
I have a theory. The followers brought many animals with them when they fled Gerid. It may be that this creature came from the followers' colony.
So if we learn where he got the animal, we may learn where the fifth scroll is.
I think this is a promising lead to pursue.
Captain, we've found Aramat. Our Ferengi trader should be at Jaward 3.
Set a course for the Jawad system.
Entering Federation space.
According to Aramat's flight plans, he should have arrived at Jaward 3.
Mr. Data, report.
There is no ship in this vicinity. However, sensors are picking up subspace induction vortices headed for the Nygold system.
Set a course for the Nygold system. Engage.
Captain, we are approaching Aramat's ship.
Hail them, Mr. Worf.
They are not responding.
Scan the ship. I want to know if Idiot is on board.
His hull is lined with a neutronium alloy. Our sensors are unable to penetrate it. They are attempting to flee. At maximum speed, they will be out of range in 12 seconds.
Let him go. Let's see what he does.
Captain, the Ferengi has entered the neutral zone.
Mr. Worf, open a channel.
Aye, Captain.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Enterprise. You are in violation of Federation law. If you do not surrender immediately, we will be forced to take action.
Well then, I surrender, Captain. All you have to do is come and get me.
Aramat, your friend Idia has been charged with kidnapping. If he is on your ship, I'll have to add harboring a fugitive to your list of crimes.
And what if I am guilty, human? Are you willing to risk war with the Romulans in order to apprehend me?
Perhaps the Romulans would be interested to learn that several of the species you transported came from their space. I think I'll send them a report. You do know what Romulans do to smugglers, don't you?
What lies are you spreading, human? I didn't take any Romulan species. They were from Frigis.
Well, if we're mistaken, I'm sure you can explain everything to the Romulans when they find you.
I am sure we can negotiate a deal, Captain Picard.
The only thing I'm willing to negotiate is your surrender, as well as Idia's.
You can take Idia, but I can tell you much in exchange for my freedom. Perhaps you'd be interested in some unusual movements of the Romulan fleet.
Mr. Data, transmit the coordinates of the brig so that Aramat can beam Idia to his new quarters. All right, Aramat, you've got a deal.
Done then. It is a fair exchange. You may have Idia and my shipping records immediately. Now, for the information you have purchased. I hear reports from the other side of the neutral zone, not that I have ever been there, of course, about a massive refit of the Romulan fleet.
What kind of refit?
They've upgraded the warp coils and added secondary power cores to many warbirds. The weapons systems suffer, of course. It may even impair cloaking ability. But they could easily outlast any Federation vessel at maximum warp.
It sounds as if the Romulans are in a race, one they want to win very badly.
Who can say what the Empire does or does not want? But a merchant always watches the spending habits of potential customers. For example, there has been a sharp rise in the price of ancient Tikan and Chodak relics in sectors near the neutral zone.
Interesting information, if it's true.
I would never cheat you, Captain. Now, this has been very entertaining, but I do have other customers.
The Ferengi is moving away. Warp 5.
Let him go. We have what we came for.
Captain, the report on Aramut's shipment is in the computer. Apparently the animals which Dr. Hune Forsch thought were from Romulan space actually came from Shoniosho Epsilon 6, uncharted territory.
I'll be sure to look at that report soon, Number One.
There's more, Captain. We can check on those animals in the Federation morphology database. These creatures are definitely related to species from Garrod. Shanoishu Epsilon 6, or Phrygus, as Aramut calls it, might just be our lost Garidian colony.
Be sure to alert our guests. Lay in a course for Shanoisho Epsilon 6, Warp 5.
Aye, sir.
Engage.